Okay, things have kind of cooled off. Starting to get some rain. We're out of the heat of the summer, so I'm gonna go ahead and start filling in. This is that row of Wachitas that just I got a hole in the drip line. That drip line there got a hole in it on up the row, and this didn't get watered, and I didn't catch it till pretty much they'd already gone. So I lost a bunch of plants here. I lost about 30 feet. So I'm gonna put a few. Go ahead and plant. I think it's time. It's tomorrow is October 1st. They should get a good month, maybe a month and a half or two of growing in before the cold starts to stunt them too bad. And they've got a great root system. Let me see if I can show you one. Now these are thornless. Got a great root system. And I dug these up like I showed you in that video that says the best way for free blackberry plants just a few weeks ago. And this is what I did with these about 2-3 months ago, was to dig them up just like I did those. And because they were out in the middle of the aisles, they weren't in the row where I wanted them. And stuck them into pots with some potting soil, and they've just gone really, really good. But they're really going to they need to be in the ground right now. So, going to plant them. I'll show you what, and basically you plant them the same depth as they are in this pot. You know, you could go a little bit deeper, but I don't think I will. I think I'll go the same depth and cover them up with this mulch. And I have mulched heavily down through here, in between the rows, and I will be throwing it into the. I mulched because I did it with my front end loader. Mulched the walkways, and I'll be pitching it, which is not easy. Pitching it over into the grow. The rows, the blackberry rows, to mulch them real heavy. So let me get these planted, then I'll mulch them, then I'll show you two things. First of all, look at the root system on that dude. Now I probably should break these, pull these out just a little bit. You don't particularly want them just ringing that plant. Just break a few of them loose. Hard to do with one hand and show it to you. But you know, break them loose a little bit before you plant them, and then again plant them that deep, just right the same level as the dirt. But I wanted to show you my dirt too. Again, if you've been following me very long, you know all I've got is clay, just hard red, hard pan clay. And this has been mulched, heavily mulched for about 3 years. And because when I planted the original blackberry plants, I put about 6 or 8 inches of wood chips on. And I just want you to look at that, man. That's just good stuff. Pliable, just beautiful. So, I've already got a couple of them in the ground and mulched. Let me do this. Okay, here's a couple of them planted. And then I'll show you what they look like when they're all mulched up. Okay, same 2 plants mulched. Now you might ask me, what is in this mulch? It's whatever the tree service brings me. It's got a lot of wood, a lot of oak. Sometimes he'll dump and I'll smell cedar and go over and look, and just a stack of cedar, nearly completely cedar. Sometimes it's pine. There's a lot of pine needles in this. And before you write and say, ooh, that's bad, it's really not. Because it's doing a good job. I mean, I'm talking from experience here, not books, but it could, if all you used was pine or cedar over the years, yeah, you may have some issues with your pH, but this is all mixed up, and by the time I scooped it up and brought it out here and loaded it up and whatever, I mixed it up even more. So, and again, what I'm doing is I've got these walkways piled up with the mulch. Just a whole lot easier to do it with front end loader than it was with a wheelbarrow, but now I've just got to rake it off over here to the sides like I did this. But I'm mulching it heavy. There's probably 6, maybe 8 maybe 12 inches of mulch around those plants. Don't be afraid to mulch, especially going into the winter. You're going to protect those roots somewhat, depending on where you live, especially. And you know, I'm talking about Texas here. I'm planting them now because I really think they're gonna. They just need to get in the ground. I would rather winter them in the ground than in a pot, because that pot, you've got a 1/16 of an inch piece of plastic protecting. That's the only thing between the cold weather and those roots. And right here, you down in the ground with a bunch of mulch piled on top of it. I think it's a no-brainer to me. But I waited till it started cooling off, and so I think I'm good now. Let me show you the other ones I got planted, and then we're going to shut her off. Here's that row I planted. That row had a couple of them already growing, you know, from the roots, but the vast majority of those, I think 6 of those are the ones I just planted. Scraped the mulch from the walkway here over to it. Mulched them deep. And again, these are Ouachita, Q-U-A-C-H-I-T-A. I can't say I recommend them. It's a thornless berry, produces a nice berry, produces a lot of berries, but it did not seem, even though part of this was my fault, even up the row where I know I didn't have a water issue, a drip irrigation issue, they just do not seem to be nearly as prolific, especially as the primocane varieties. So I mean, I've just got very few even reaching this trellis here, all the way up the row. It's just I'm not impressed. So I'm not saying go get you some Ouachitas or Ouachitas, but I'm just showing you how to plant, and that you can, depending on where you are, you can probably plant in the fall. Now, if you're watching this in the spring, same thing. Just wait till your real cold weather is over. I mean, hard freeze. They can take some frost, but I think the hard freeze is what you want to stay away from. Wait till the hard freeze is over, and when I say they can take the frost, I'm talking about baby plants, new plants. Grown plants, frost doesn't bother them. Even a freeze, these plants lost most of their leaves right before it was time to bud out again. I mean, the winter didn't seem to phase them at all. They'd turn a little purple. The leaves would turn purple, but it just didn't seem to phase them at all. So I'm not saying plant Ouachita, and I'm not saying that now's a good time in your area. I don't know whether fall is good for you or not. It was good for me. I've got some that just needed to be in the ground. I didn't want to winter in pots, even though I've still got some. I'm going to have to winter in pots unless somebody comes and gets them. But spring obviously would be the best time. But if you can get a hold of some now, and again, like this one over here is coming up outside the row, I might very well dig that little puppy up, put him in a pot. That's not really where I want him. This is the middle of the row, and he's out there. He's about 2 feet away. That's about the extent of where I want him. So, but just to show you that we've still got them coming up. This is again, tomorrow's 1st of October, and we've got them. We've got shoots still coming up. I didn't realize that till I just came out here today, but I do. This one just came up not too long ago. It's right where I want it to be, but it's grown a foot, 18 inches in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, it's going crazy. So, anyway, I'm planting blackberries in the fall, and I think it's going to be good for me. I will get some berries from the top growth, from this growth, and whatever other top growth I get before winter. I will get a few berries off of that, but obviously next year is when they're going to go crazy. You're wanting that root system to get down in there and start making new plants, and hopefully next year it'll fill in this row nice. That's it. I think I've talked long enough. We're gone.